Hilu. Dear students, welcome back to Dear ICSCE. Today, we're going to study an important topic for Class 8 Biology, control and coordination in human body.
So think about it like this. You pull your hand away from a hot pan in like a fraction of a second. That's one kind of control, right? But then there's the way you grow and change over years during your teens. That's a whole different ballgame. Your body has two amazing systems to handle both the super fast stuff and the long-term projects, and today we are going to nail them both.
And here they are, the body's two big command centers. On one side, you've got the nervous system. Think of it like a high-speed electrical internet, just zapping messages everywhere. On the other side is the endocrine system, which is more like a chemical mail service, a little slower, but with messages that can last a lot longer. They're a total power couple, and understanding how they work together is your key to acing this topic.
Okay, let's jump into the nervous system first. And seriously, the best way to think about it is like your body's own personal internet. It sends these electrical signals at incredible speeds, letting you react to literally everything around you in real time.
So what's the most basic piece of this whole network? It's the neuron, the nerve cell. This is a huge vocabulary word, so definitely lock this one in. Every single signal, every thought, every little movement is carried by these awesome little cells.
All right, so let's break this thing down. How is a neuron actually built to do its job so well? Well, it really comes down to a few key parts you'll for sure see on your quiz. The cell body, these branchy things called dendrites that receive signals, and the long tail, the axon that sends them out. Let's take a closer look at those last two.
First up, we've got the dendrites. You can think of these as the neuron's antennas. They're all branched out, just waiting to catch signals from other neurons and bring that info in towards the cell body. They are the input channels, plain and simple. So, once the cell body gets a signal, it fires back down the axon. The axon is the transmitter, carrying the message away from the cell. Now you see that fatty stuff wrapped around it? That's the myelin sheath, and it is so important. It acts just like the plastic insulation on a wire, making that signal travel way, way faster.
So here's the million-dollar question. How does this signal jump from one neuron to the next when they don't even touch? It all happens at this tiny little gap called the synapse. At the end of the axon, the neuron releases these chemical messengers, neurotransmitters, that float across the gap and kickstart a new signal in the next neuron. It's a clever little chemical handoff, and it's what makes sure the signal only ever goes in one direction.
Okay, let's zoom out from just one cell. The whole system is super organized. You've got the central nervous system, or CNS. That's the big boss, the brain and spinal cord. Then there's the peripheral nervous system, the PNS, which is basically all the wiring that connects the CNS to the rest of you. And finally, you've got the autonomic nervous system, which is like the body's autopilot, handling all the stuff you don't think about, like your heart beating or your breathing. Now, this slide is pure gold for a quiz. The reflex arc is a classic, so pay close attention. You touch something hot. A receptor in your skin zaps a signal up a sensory neuron right to your spinal cord. And here's the really cool part. Your spinal cord makes the call right then and there, no time to check with the brain. It shoots a command back down a motor neuron to a muscle, the effector, and that muscle yanks your hand away before your brain even knows what happened. It's a life-saving shortcut.
All right, let's switch gears and talk about the body's other control system. So if the nervous system was like high-speed internet, the endocrine system is kind of like the postal service. It's a chemical delivery system that's definitely slower, but its messages can spread all over and have effects that last for a really long time.
And the key players here, they're called hormones. These are the chemical letters in our mail service, and they're made by endocrine glands. Instead of zipping down a nerve, they get dumped directly into your bloodstream. From there, they just cruise around the whole body until they find their target cells, the ones with the right mailing address, to deliver their message. This is how your body handles huge, long-term stuff like growth and development.
Okay, quiz alert. For sure, you're going to get a question about the difference between endocrine and exocrine glands. This slide lays it out perfectly. The number one difference to remember is the word ducts. Endocrine glands are ductless. They put hormones straight into the blood. Exocrine glands, like your sweat glands or salivary glands, have little tubes or ducts to deliver their stuff to a specific spot.
Let's do a quick run-through of the major glands you gotta know. First up, the tiny but super powerful pituitary gland, right at the base of your brain. They call it the master gland for a reason. It's the boss, telling lots of other glands what to do. Then you've got the thyroid in your neck. It makes thyroxine, which basically sets the speed dial for your whole body's metabolism and how fast you burn energy.
Moving on down, we've got the pancreas, which makes insulin to keep your blood sugar in check. Then you have the adrenal glands, sitting like little hats on your kidneys. These pump out adrenaline for that crazy fight-or-flight feeling. That adrenaline rush is a perfect example of teamwork. It tells your nervous system to get sharp and ready for action. And of course, the ovaries and testes, which produce the sex hormones that run the show for sexual development and reproduction.
So, where do we see both of these systems just totally collaborating on a massive scale? Well, look no further than adolescence. You can literally think of it as a huge pre-planned system update for your whole body, and it is all run by hormones.
So how does this update even start? Remember our old friend, the master gland, the pituitary? It gets the ball rolling by releasing two hormones, FSH and LH. They travel through the blood and act like a wake-up call to the ovaries and testes, telling them, hey, time to start making your own hormones. That's estrogen and progesterone in females and testosterone in males. And that hormonal surge is what causes every single change during puberty.
And the results of this hormonal flood? Well, they're pretty hard to miss, right? We're talking about those big growth spurts, reproductive organs maturing, voices changing, new body hair, all of it. These are all the direct physical results of that chemical male service working overtime.
But hey, the changes aren't just physical. That big hormonal shift can also mess with your emotions, leading to mood swings and making you feel more self-conscious. It's a time of huge change, and that can be stressful. That's why managing that stress is so important. Things like sports, yoga, or just taking time to chill can actually help your body handle its stress response and get through this wild time.
Okay, deep breath. We've covered all the main stuff. Now it's time for a final rapid-fire review to really hammer home the most important facts for your quiz. You ready? Let's go. First, the absolute rock-bottom basics. A stimulus is just a change in your environment. The way you react to it, that's a response. This simple idea is the foundation for everything we've just talked about.
Okay, quick-fire question for you. The cerebellum, that little part at the back of your brain, what's its main gig? If you're thinking balance and coordinating your movements, you have hit the nail on the head.
And one more for you. You're in a scary emergency situation. Which hormone gets dumped into your system to get you ready for fight or flight? That's going to be adrenaline from those adrenal glands. So to wrap this all up, here's the big takeaway. These two systems, one lightning fast and electric, the other slower and chemical, they aren't working alone. They are constantly talking to each other, perfectly coordinated to control everything from a tiny reflex to your entire journey of growing up. If you understand how they work together, you're in great shape.